It's not even January, but we begin with the latest from Idaho's capital. Exactly 1 week from today, lawmakers will be back at the Statehouse. Technically, the legislature never adjourned for the year, so lawmakers are now simply coming back to finish the last legislative session. The major topic they're taking up: action to push back on the Biden administration's vaccine mandate. Our Joe Paris with the 208 talked with legislative leadership for their perspective on the return. No surprise, Idaho Democrats and Republicans have very different feelings on returning next week, but here's how they disagree.
A lot could happen a week from today when Idaho lawmakers are expected to return to the Statehouse. But House Speaker Scott Bedke tells me, although a lot could happen, he expects the conversation among lawmakers to be very narrow. Here's what he has to say about addressing President Biden's vaccine mandates.
I don't want this to be overly scripted and restrictive that way, because again, this is regular session. But the thing that brings us together, the emergent issue is the Biden administration and its announcements. And so that's what brings us together. Most everything else it can wait until January 10th. It's not that far away now. And so so we'll push things that can be pushed off into the regular session or the session that starts in January. But these other issues we feel are of such a nature that we need to act now.
It is wait and see to see exactly what Idaho lawmakers do when they return next week. But Idaho Democrats are skeptical that the conversation will be as fruitful and productive as some Republicans are expecting. Today I spoke with Illana Rubel, one of the leaders for the Democrats over on the House side. Here's her thoughts on lawmakers returning next week.
It's never a good idea to be passing major legislation in 72 hours or less. You really want there's a reason why during session it takes a good month or so. You want time for people to read it and do some legal analysis, change things if they need to be changed, give the public time to weigh in. And none of that is going to be possible in this session. So things are going to get rammed through at lightning speed, probably without adequate legal analysis and without adequate opportunity for the public and business and the business community and whatnot to weigh in and tell us what the impact of these laws is going to be. So I'm a little afraid that big steps are going to be taken perhaps too hastily, and that there might be some damage coming out of this session.
I've spoken to some in the community that say, lawmakers are supposed to be back in January. That's not too far away anyways. I know it could wait till then. I'm curious, do you and other Democrat leaders think this could just simply wait till January?
That's exactly how I feel. I don't see why we're going to be back in less than 2 months, and then we'll be back for real during the normal proper procedure where we'll have committees set up and everybody will be there, and the public will have an adequate opportunity to vet things. And I see no reason why we have to go in with our hair on fire, passing things in record time when we could do it in due course and in a more proper manner, I think, if we just wait a short period of time.
And I know some in the community say, well, this sounds like a big waste of taxpayer dollars. Tell me why it isn't.
Oh, well, I think it is. So I would be the wrong person to ask on that. But I mean, even for those who think that, there's a super big emergency with the Biden vaccine mandates, those are going through the courts right now and, have been challenged. I believe they're actually enjoined at the moment. And that seems to me very much like the proper avenue to address it, because either it's an overreach of federal power and is struck down by the courts, in which case there's nothing for our legislature to worry about, or they're upheld and they are viewed as constitutional by the courts, in which case whatever laws we pass are probably going to be unconstitutional themselves and be struck down through costly litigation. So I see no reason for the legislature to be rushing in right now, given that the question is already being addressed and will likely be resolved by federal courts.
Again, lawmakers are expected back in Boise next week. We'll have the latest from the Capitol both here on air and online at ktvb.com.